stuff, it was on a different level. It really was, and I don't say that in a boastful way. I say it very humbly and in humility. It wasn't, that was one of the reasons it grew so fast, because a lot of people was like, wow, you don't find magazines like this. Most magazines are geared to hip hop, music, celebrities, big time celebrities and their lifestyles and stuff like that. But you're really talking about real issues that people deal with, not just in this country, but in the world, and how it can affect us here in the home turf in the USA. Because it does affect us. It's like now with the Amazon, how they did, because they couldn't control the Amazon and they couldn't take the people and steal their land, so now they're doing a genocide. They intentionally set a fire. All of a sudden the Amazon now is on fire and stuff. It's just like evilness. You have to understand there really is spiritual wickedness in high places. It really is, and we see it every day. We're living this shit. We're seeing it, so we know it exists. But you had people that that wanted to degrade what I did and didn't even understand what I did, and I think about it, nobody come talk to me and say what's really going on. I had some people that asked, and I didn't get into detail, because my thing is, even though this individual did not see eye to eye at the end, and things got rough at the end, me still was not trying to degrade the person, or make the person look bad, or degrade their dignity or anything like that. But this person didn't give a fuck about doing that to me, even though I didn't do anything wrong. So you have that sometimes. And then even on the Facebook page that they had, I was posting, and so it's not like the information wasn't there. So it just shows some people, they choose to see what they want to see and read what they want to read and hear what they want to hear, even when the evidence is in their face, showing them something, showing them, look, it's not nothing like the way you feel or think, or the way somebody explained it and told it to you. I'm showing it to you. It's from the horse's mouth. This is it. But some people, they ignore all of that, and that's what ended up transpiring, and some of the things that happened with my publication. So my illnesses, me getting so sick, and all of a sudden it just started having all these issues just flare up at one time and just attacking me at one time. It was detrimental to my business and my business and professional relationships with people, elite people in the mainstream entertainment industry. Like me personally, I like to deal with a lot of people behind the scenes. I like to build, because those are really the biggest dog. Those are the big dogs. Those are the people who's really pulling the strings and calling the shots and stuff. It's not always the ones that you see, in the forefront. It's usually the ones behind the scenes that's, doing the, that's really making everything happen. And so it was being graced to come in contact with these individuals, and they were willing to give me a chance. So when that happened, it just really devastated me, because I was like, damn, like how, like I'm right there. And everything just came crashing down like an iceberg or avalanche. It just like I took one step on the snow, and it created an avalanche, and all hell and high water broke loose. And that's what pretty much happened. And it devastated me for a long time. Like I was so depressed about it. I was angry. I was vexed. I went through so many different levels and types of emotions, dealt with so many levels of psychological, spiritual, and mental anguish and perplexation, and just not only, it wasn't even really just because of the business, my publication folding through, but it was like letting all these people down, and not even just the elite people, but more importantly, it's those who supported me, the fans, the people who was there through whatever. And it's like when that happened to me, it's like I shut completely down from everything and everybody. Went incognito for a few years, because me was so, I couldn't even function. Like my mind, my psyche was not there. Even with my family and my friends and stuff, they could tell they were, my daughter, one of my previous PCPs, had me admitted into a mental hospital because, I was suicidal. Not, and again, I want you to understand is it wasn't because my publication went downhill and it crashed. It was because all of this stuff just happened out the blue and me not doing anything to provoke it. I was doing what I was supposed to do. Was doing my best to dot every I and cross every T. I was making sure that I was handling my business like I needed to and as professionally as supposed to be can, and do things the right way, in legitimate way. And it seemed like I got punished for it. And I felt like, damn, like, why would this happen when I'm doing everything I possibly can do and do it in the right way, versus out here trying to scheme and scam people, or manipulate people, or not do what I'm supposed to be doing. But I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and it wasn't working for me. It didn't work. It backfired on me, and that devastated me because it was so much. It was so much deeper, and I touch bases on that when I get into talking about how lupus affects personal relationships and intimate relationships. But then I could get in more deeper discussion about that. But right now I want to kind of stay focused on this business, how lupus and business relationships, clashes. And so when it was going through all of this, did not at the time. Now, mind you, still at the time, I did not know I was going through lupus. I didn't know I had lupus. I didn't know I had esophageal syncope, GERD, all of this other stuff, post-traumatic stress disorder. I didn't know I was still suffering with that. I didn't know I was still suffering from trauma, from things that had happened, and even trauma from the car accident. It traumatized me. I was going through a lot of stuff and had no idea and clue at the time that that's what I was dealing with. So I'm going through, I'm dealing with all these symptoms, and I'm having all these issues, but still no diagnosis. Nobody has any concrete diagnosis to let me know, look, this is why you're experiencing this. This is what's going on with you. Nobody knows. I'm going to doctors after doctors, specialists after specialists. Nobody knows what is going on with me. So I'm sitting up here for 2 whole years going through this without any answers, without no kind of concrete, just, well, it seemed like it's this, well, it seemed like it's that. It may even has a couple of doctors say, oh, well, it's in your head. No, bitch, it's not in my damn head. Just because you ain't competent as fuck and don't know how to find out and you're not knowledgeable and educated enough in in your field, in your profession, doesn't mean that I'm exaggerating and I'm just making this up. No, there's something definitely going on. My family even see it. It's like people who know me, really know me, that be around me on a regular basis, they were even noticing me. That they were just like, something is not right. I'm getting up, I'm walking in my sleep, and I've never been a sleepwalker. Doing things that didn't even realize I was doing it. My mom said I walked and I had on my gown and I was walking, getting ready to go out the door. She stopped me. I don't even remember. She said she did try to wake me up or if they was sleepwalking. She just turned me around and navigated me back to my room. And then I don't remember none of that shit. I don't remember anything like that. So what I'm saying is I was going through so much mentally and psychologically, dealing with all of this stuff, and it was just like it wasn't one particular thing that was causing it. Was a combination of everything that I was dealing with and going through, and it was just too much for my mind to handle and to process, and for my body as well, because I was so vexed, so stressed, so depressed, so just in turmoil because I'm not getting any answers. And then I'm sitting up here trying to act like everything is normal. I'm trying to be normal, trying to, play it off and stuff. I'm being around people, and then it got to the point where I started being uncomfortable around people in the public. I started being afraid to be around people in the public because I was going through so damn much. And the anxiety, oh my gosh, the anxiety, it went to another level. Like, me never, ever in my life felt anxiety to that extent before. Not that I can remember and recall. but it was a lot. It was so much. So when, my son, and I'm seeing how I'm trying everything within me to get it together and to keep it together, because my child, he was terrified to the point where he wouldn't even go to school. I may wake up and he's laying down at the foot of my bed because he's afraid to leave me alone. He's afraid that when he comes out from school that I'm not going to be there. He actually told me that. He's like, "Mom, I don't want to come home and you're not here." Because he's seen me DOA before. And that's a hard thing. I can't even imagine a middle schooler, because he was in middle school at the time, seeing that. And my son and my godsons, they've had to physically pick me up and carry me upstairs. I got dismissed from a hospital just to reach home and pass back out again, and had to be rushed back to the hospital. It just stuff like that. It was a whole lot. So it going through that, it devastated me. Where me just lost sight of who I was. Me lost sight of of me, the person. Me lost sight of reality. Me lost sight of life. And me didn't want to live, because Bill was like, "I don't want to live like this." I used to tell my doctors, "I don't want to live like this. I don't know what the hell going on. Y'all don't know what's going on. I'm just sitting up here. I'm forgetting shit. I don't recognize people. I don't know the days of the week. I can't even don't know how to operate my phone. I can't even understand what the keys on the keyboard means. If I'm pressing the A, I'm not realizing that I'm pressing the A button, and the A is coming up on the damn monitor and stuff. And I'm not, like, what do you expect for me to do?" I'm like, my mind is gone. Like, I'm in another dimension. I'm not me anymore. And it's like, it was so hard. It was so hard. And it wasn't just hard for me. It was hard for my mom and my son, because they're sitting back there looking at this, and they're trying to, they want to be able to help me, but they can't help me. And my significant other, he was looking at me, now that's going to get on a different, that, like I said, that's going to get onto the personal and intimate relationships. But it bothered it affects every aspect of my life. Every relationship that I possibly had in my life, it affected it in a very profound way. And we just want to encourage anybody who is going through this. And if you have a business, like I don't give up. Like I'm like doing my clothing, I'm doing sewing and home decors and stuff. We can't stop. And that's something I want to encourage you. Don't damn stop. I don't care if you got to, rest, pull back some, recoup, and come back swinging. That's what you do. But never ever quit. Don't give up on yourself. Because I'm telling you, when you get to that place where you start giving up on yourself, and you do give up on yourself, it's really hard to pull out of that. And because my business relationships had gotten so detrimentally affected, and then it got to the point where me couldn't even go and just work a regular 9 to 5 or go punch in on somebody's at a job, because my health is so unpredictable. Like, I feel fine now, I feel good, but tomorrow or later on today, actually just later on tonight, my body could completely shut down, and it could be shut down for the rest of the night, or it could be shut down for a day, 2 days, it could be a week, it could be a month, it could be a year. That's the bad part. See, that's the thing that people don't understand, who does not deal with chronic illnesses and diseases and have it. And if they do deal with it, if it doesn't affect them to that extent, they'll never understand. So trying to verbally explain it to them is like talking to a damn wall, honestly, and that's no pun intended. But it was devastating. And so, like, even me wanting to be able to really just step out on faith and take that chance of doing something in business where I'm dealing with people and in the public sector, me can't do that. I'm passionate about it, want to, but me can't, because my health it's not well. I'm not strong enough in my body, in my health, to be able to take on that kind of obligation. And I don't want to let anybody else down,